Hi guys, this is Gentry Johnston and Rachel Kestin, and we are P3s at Presbyterian College School of Pharmacy. Under the direction of Dr. Eileen Ward, we decided to do a survey on factors associated with e-cigarette use in college students. Due to the increased number of e-cigarette use in young adults, Rachel and I decided to pursue this research opportunity with the undergraduate campus. Throughout this presentation, we'll be referring to e-cigarette use as vaping. Our objective of this research was to describe the factors associated with e-cigarette use or avoidance of e-cigarette use in the college students at Presbyterian College. For the methods of this survey, an electronic Qualitrix survey was sent to all degree-seeking undergraduate Presbyterian College students ages 18 years and over. The questions explored various concepts such as patterns of use, percentage of friends who used e-cigarettes, comfort vaping around those who do or do not vape, concerns of side effects, interest in quitting, and how COVID and new age restrictions impacted vaping habits. The responses were categorized as vapers if they had used an electronic cigarette at least once in their lifetime, or non-vapers if they had reported never using an electronic cigarette. The survey was available for 4 weeks with a gift card incentive for participation. All responses that were received were anonymous. Once the response was received, a descriptive analysis was performed on the survey results.
Of the survey responses, there were 262 participants that fully completed the survey, and those were the responses that we used for data analysis. Figure 1 shows the college year and vaping status. It was interesting to see that second years and fourth years proportions vaped more than those in the first years and the third years. We also looked to see when participants started vaping, if they said that they had vaped. A majority of vapers started in high school or college, and just a few started for the first time in middle school. There were 100 participants that said that they were involved in Greek life, and 79% of those were vapers, which we thought was a very high percentage. And then there were 80% participants who said that they were student athletes, and 58% of those said that they were vapers. The most common environment vapers stated that they used their devices were at social events or parties or hanging out with friends. The next most common environment was when they were studying, relaxing, or during times of stress. Figure 2 shows the frequency of vaping, and a majority of our participants who said that they vape said that they did it a few times a year, but not monthly. We think this might have been due to the fact that they mostly do it in social events or parties or whenever they're hanging out with friends. Participants who said they vaped were also surveyed about quitting. 31.1% of vapers have thought about quitting and also tried to quit, while 9.1% of the vapers have thought about quitting but have not tried to quit. 25.8% have never thought about quitting. We also asked vapers if they have gotten withdrawal symptoms whenever they hadn't vaped in a while, and 71.2% stated that they did not get withdrawal symptoms. And those were described as agitation or irritability, lack of focus, sweating, and or increased heart rate. So we thought this was a pretty high percentage for those that never experienced withdrawal syndromes. There were only 6 participants that said that they did experience withdrawal syndromes, and these responses correlated with the participants that said that they vaped daily. We also asked about vapers if they had ever used combustible cigarettes, and 48.5% said they did, which we also thought was a high number. We asked about other factors that have affected vapers, such as the age change to purchase and the COVID-19 pandemic. As most of you know, the age to purchase has increased to being 21 instead of 18. 40.9% of vapers said that it was not more difficult to purchase products. One thing that we found really interesting was that 37.1% of our vapors stated that they don't purchase the products or devices they use, which we think could mean that they were sharing or we had underage participants get someone else to buy it for them. Participants were asked about the COVID-19, how the COVID-19 changed their vaping use. 39.4% stated that they quit vaping during the pandemic, which is pretty good. And just a small portion, 3.8%, stated that they started vaping during the pandemic. If you draw your attention to table 1, that shows the percent of friends who vape per category. Among the vapors, it's pretty dispersed, but you can see with non-vapors, 53.4% of the non-vapors identified their friends as, or their friend groups as being less than 25% of them vaping. Table 2 shows how likely vapors are to vape around friends who do not vape, and 55% of them said that they were very unlikely to vape around their friends who don't vape, which is a pretty high number. And then if you look at the non-vapers, we asked them how comfortable they are being around people while they're using e-cigarettes, and over half of them said that they were somewhat uncomfortable to very uncomfortable. Moving to table 3, we're looking at the concerning risk of vaping. For vapors, we asked which option would motivate them most to quit, and most of them said E-Valley, which is e-cigarette and vaping associated lung injury. And then the next most common was saving money. So we thought that was interesting because one was based on health risk and another one was just based on financial situation. And then with the non-vapors, we asked them why they haven't started or tried or anything like that. And most of them said that they just weren't interested, which is pretty standard. And then the next most common answer was that they were concerned about the health risk of vaping.
In conclusion, the use of electronic cigarettes is common among the undergraduate students at Presbyterian College. Future research could explore the feasibility and interest of offering cessation programs for college-aged vapers, possibly through peer mentors and facilitators. In conclusion, we would like to thank Dr. Ward for helping us and guiding us through this research project. If you have any questions, our contact information is at the bottom of this poster, and we would love to get back to you.